This is a book review of Principles by Ray Dalio. We are Accessory to Success, and we review a lot of business books here. We take a lot of tidbits from these books and package them up, send them out in brief emails once a week. If that sounds interesting, feel free to go to the website and subscribe. Now let's get into the main takeaway from Principles by Ray Dalio. People who achieve success in their personal and work lives live by their principles or fundamental truths. They thrive by embracing reality and relying on radical honesty and radical transparency applicable in every relationship. In a group setting, applying the concept of idea meritocracy, independent thinkers come together, air disagreements, and come up with the best possible collective thinking resolution by using a believability-weighted system. In this system, an idea's legitimacy is weighted based on the person's track record and how well an idea is explained. Problem solving and decision making are always based on well-defined principles in life and work. A lot of information is provided in the book Principles, but the overriding theme is that people must deal with reality on a personal level and in group relationships and be willing to learn from mistakes in order to achieve success. Bullet points of what you'll learn in this book. Principles are the fundamental truths that serve as the foundation for behavior, enabling you to get what you want out of life. Basing your principles on truths is critical to reaching goals. People learn decision-making skills from encounters with reality in which choices are made and consequences experienced, and it is a lifelong learning process. It is important to develop a process for working through disagreements and learning to recognize and admit when wrong. Getting past the pain of mistake making and using mistakes as opportunities for learning drives success. Dreams plus reality plus determination equals a successful life. Being a hyper-realistic means approaching the beauty of realities even when they are harsh. A 5-step process for achieving what you want in life. Importance of accepting that people are wired differently. A process of systematizing learning from mistakes. How to develop personal principles by studying cause-effect relationships and patterns and embracing reality. The principle of thoughtful disagreement in which people are guided by the fear of missing important perspectives. The importance of owning outcomes and confronting weaknesses and making effective decisions. The process of applying life principles to groups as work principles. The idea meritocracy consists of radical truth, radical transparency, and believability-weighted decision-making. Applying life principles in an organizational setting, creating a culture in which everyone understands that mistakes are opportunities for learning. Process for resolving conflicts. Now on to the main book review. Principles are operating guidelines, so to speak. They are the foundation on which behavior is based as people try to get what they want out of life. Ray Dalio takes a deep dive into the concept of principles, giving his personal journey of learning to achieve success as the starting point. His life and most important principle is to keep an open mind as you decide what you want for yourself and to base it on what is true or reality. From that point on, base your behavior on your reality throughout life, which includes making decisions and learning from them. Part 1 is Where I'm Coming From. Is a discussion of his experiences that led to his personal principles that guide his decision making. It is his personal story and one he says you can skip if desired. However, this section explains Bridgewater's growth through good decisions, including investing in powerful computers for investment research, discovering inflation-indexed bonds and risk parity, and building a culture in which other people made good decisions based on solid principles. Another book from a successful businessman comes from the founder of Home Depot called I Love Capitalism. It also describes mistakes made that were turned into opportunities. He provides insights that every manager can embrace. For example, when Dalio stepped down as CEO, the company struggled due to a gap in what he calls shaping. A shaper, Dalio mentions Steve Jobs and others, is someone who comes up with unique and valuable visions that then successfully builds them out over the doubts and opposition of others. Malcolm Gladwell would also refer to these people as outliers in his book about success, Outliers. Part 2, Life Principles. The main idea presented is that you must decide what you want and then use the truth to decide what you should do. Whatever you decide must adhere to your principles. Therefore, identify your principles first to create a solid foundation for moving forward. The book section offers a 5-step process for getting what you want in life. The steps are to have clear goals, identify and do not tolerate problems that stand in your way, diagnose the problems to discover your root causes, design plans to get around the problems, and push the designs through to results. Following the 5-step plan will get you on the upward evolution curve in which you use failures to learn and grow. This is something discussed in great detail in the book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. The 5-step process may seem a bit simplistic on the surface, but the reality is that people often get stopped on the second step. They tolerate problems which become excuses for lack of progress. Each step should be done well and one at a time. For example, when setting goals, you just set goals and do not think about the next steps. Dalio goes on to discuss factors like barriers to good decision making, which are ego and blind spots, the different ways people experience reality, and the importance of truthful and transparent communication to ensure the best ideas emerge and win out. This is something considered to be of paramount importance in the book, Creating Magic. The 5 broad life principles advanced in this section are to embrace and deal with reality, use the 5-step process to achieve goals, be radically open-minded, understand how people are wired differently, and learn to make effective decisions. Part 3, Work Principles. The main idea is that work should be aligned with your passions and work with people you want to build a future with. Life principles are still the foundation for decision making and relationship building in the group setting. The organization should build a great culture where disagreements are allowed to be aired and resolved. There must be radical truth and radical transparency, meaningful work and relationships, a cultural value of learning from mistakes, and using believability-weighted decision making. The people you choose to work with makes it possible. For more on finding the right people to work with, read the book Who. The book is a fascinating exploration of Bridgewater's idea meritocracy that strives to deliver meaningful work through radical truth and transparency. Dalio discusses the process of applying principles and the 5-step process at the organizational level as a decision maker. They include not tolerating problems, identify root causes, air them, and resolve them, developing executive plans, using tools and protocols to shape habits, and establishing good governance. There are over 500 principles discussed throughout the book, and they are broken down into high, mid, and sub-principle levels. The work principles in particular are relevant. At Bridgewater, thoughtful, unemotional disagreement by independent thinkers is converted into believability-weighted decision-making. That is smarter and more effective because it utilizes the power of the group. Team members feeling able to express their true opinions and be heard is an essential part of employee engagement. A great book on this is Drive. As today's businesses encourage innovative and creative thinking in the workforce to adapt to a dynamic marketplace, they must find a way to harness and coalesce ideas and decide which ones make sense based on reality. It is a challenge to make managers struggle to meet your success, meaning many innovative ideas are never acknowledged or get lost in emotional disagreements. This would explain why some companies are never able to produce continuous innovation while others never stop. For more on the challenge of innovation, read the legendary book Innovator's Dilemma. One of this book's appealing features is that it is always upbeat. Dalio discusses events like mistakes in terms of learning opportunities and weaknesses as characteristics that can be methodically addressed. He recommends finding the most believable people you disagree with and make an effort to understand their reasoning. Problems are opportunities to improve in pursuit of goals. He provides an enormous amount of detail too. This is not a book full of generalities. You learn the steps to solve disagreements, reach goals, use principles, use believability, weighted decision making, hire right, diagnose problems, and much more. Everyone can benefit from the insights in this book, whether looking for a life or work guidance for someone who mastered success. A comparable success story is Jack Ma's about building Alibaba. Ray Dalio has seen enormous success as an investor and hedge fund manager. He was born in New York's Queensboro in 1949 and began investing at the early age of 12 when he bought shares of Northeast Airlines. Dalio earned a bachelor's degree in finance from Long Island University, C.W. Post College in 1971, and earned an MBA from Harvard Business School in 1973. Dalio worked as a clerk on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange to trade commodity futures before college and graduate school. While attending Harvard for 2 years, he spent summers trading commodities at Merrill Lynch. He then worked as the director of commodities at Dominick & Dominick LLC and became a broker and futures trader in 1974. In 1975, Dalio founded Bridgewater Associates, an investment management firm he operated out of his 2-bedroom apartment. A testament to his investment skills, Bridgewater Associate was the world's largest hedged fund by 2005. The premier asset management now manages more than $160 billion in assets for more than 300 clients. The investing success of Dalio reflects a deep knowledge of the economy. For example, in 2007, he suggested to the U.S. Treasury Secretary that the forces at work could lead to a global financial crisis. He was right. His success is an investment strategy which he says is based on the principles of reality. Dalio's basic premise is that you invest on the way things really are and not how you wish them to be. Dalio stepped down as co-CEO of Bridgewater in March of 2017, but retained an advisory role. He turned Bridgewater into a partnership and gave employees a stake in the firm to ensure its survival into the future. This supported his idea of developing an idea meritocracy. Ray Dalio is currently the co-chief investment officer and co-chair of Bridgewater Associates. Now a multi-billionaire, he supports charitable causes from the Dalio Foundation. Dalio signed the Giving Pledge with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, committing half of his net wealth to charitable causes over his lifetime. He has a particular interest in oceanographic research and conservation. He believes in diversification, recognizing inflation risk, not holding or selling based on biases and do not reflect reality, selling winning stocks and reinvesting the profits, and understanding the structure of interest rates and the factors causing their movement. Ray Dalio has authored several books: Principles for Success in 2005, Principles, Life and Work in 2017, Principles for Navigating Big Debt Crisis 2018, and The Changing World Order: By Nations, Succeed or Fail, 2021. In 2012, Dalio received the American Academy of Achievement's Gold Plate Award. His book, Principles, was listed as one of the 13 best business books of 2017 by CNBC. Was named #1 New York Times bestseller and earned the Axiom Business Book Award for 2018. Ray Dalio gave a TED Talk on how to build a company where the best ideas win, which he has had 3.8 million views, a testament to his influence. The author is the recipient of 3 Lifetime Achievement Awards. Dalio is called the Steve Jobs of Investing by ACO Magazine and Wired Magazine. He was also named one of the 100 most influential people by Time Magazine. You can find more information about Ray Dalio and current updates and shared principles on his Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn accounts. This has been a book review of Principles by billionaire Ray Dalio. We are Accessory to Success. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. There are links to all the other books mentioned in this book review. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter where we take the best tidbits from all these great books and email them out once a week. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next review.